such a minority if, for instance, it was United India. And you'll hear a lot of Kashmiris talk about that as well, and they would think that partition is wrong, and I can understand. And again, we have to understand when one of the things which occurred when Pakistan was created, it left because there are more Muslims left behind in India than those who went with Bangladesh and Pakistan. Pakistan at the time, now divided into two countries, who uh, remained behind. And those people, their elite went to Bangladesh and Pakistan, known as Pakistan at that time, East or West. And most of them came to West. So that community which was left behind of Muslims, if you speak to them, if you look at their sentiments, they were almost left like orphans in terms of survival, in terms of absence of an educated class. The only reason many of them stayed behind is because they could not make a move for one reason or another. So I can again understand where they're coming from. But then there is, once you've like clarified this entire situation, then there are those who basically just like, for example, like to compare cricket teams. They like to compare resources, and they think everything would have been hunky dory in this situation. What I think specifically those people, as well as the previously dissected group, what they fail to understand is, if, for example, India would have been united, let's just think about that for a second. The Afghanistan issue would have been an even bigger issue with the Taliban and everything else, because that would have not involved Pakistan, that would have involved entire Indian Muslim populace. The Afghan issue would have been an Indian issue. So again, if you look at the entire situation, the hard elements within Pakistan in terms of religious extremism would have gone head to head with the Hindu extremism. And what does that remind me of? That reminds me of all the times in previous history, which predates the British in the subcontinent, where there are stories of conflict between Muslims and Hindus. Uh, some people refer to them as invaders. That would have been such a common thing even in today's world. So I
Can I
think
quickly respond to
overall,
that?
one more thing. I think overall, Pakistan is kind of not purposely made in that way, but Pakistan seems to be like a buffer state for India. Otherwise, the Afghan and the Iranian issues would have been Indian issues. And
I think
with
Shah,
such a, yeah, go ahead.
I think we should do another room about, like, was partition a good thing or a bad thing? And to, like, just you made a very quick statement that Afghan Taliban would have been India's problem. I think, like, I could agree with a lot of things that you said, but not this exact point, because the Afghan Taliban is created by Pakistan. It would have never existed if it wasn't for Pakistan. So it would have never been a problem, to be honest. Like, Taliban, Afghanistan Taliban would have never existed without the support of Pakistan. So it can be a longer discussion. We can discuss about it. But yeah.
The
Could
thing
I
is,
speak,
no, yeah, after
Shaji?
this, yeah, just
I
one
asked
second.
earlier also.
Yeah, yeah. Sorry about that, Neil. Aditya, the thing is, it's very well saying that whose ideology it was, and people quote it was Saudis, whose funding it was, and people quote it was American. And it's very easy to state that it was Pakistan who provided the base. And yeah, I can understand that. But the situation, given the same circumstances, the same Soviet attack, the same conditions as per remaining the same in that situation, the radicalization and things like that would have been just as bad. The Iranian Revolution would have still emerged. The Saudis and the oil issues would have still been there, and what was happening
The
in
only
Central Asia.
reason the Arabs and the Americans were able to infiltrate in Afghanistan was through Pakistan. They would have never been even able to enter Afghanistan if it wasn't for Pakistan. So
Have you heard of
that's my
the
understanding.
word?
Oh, okay,
Have you heard?
guys. I think we are going into a lot of ifs and
Yeah, yeah.
buts.
Just
Yeah.
hold on, by one second. If you refer back to what is known as the Great Game, this is exactly what happened between Russia and Britain in the same region. And if you look even before that, that's exactly what happened. Each time there was a conflict in Afghanistan and Iran or Central Asia in terms of empires emerging or dropping. Uh, this was the corridor from which, and it still remains to be the corridor which from where people entered, historically speaking. So nothing's changed in the Pakistan Afghan, what is known as Pakistan today, and
I
Afghanistan
totally
border.
disagree with you there. We can discuss about what was happening in Afghanistan in that period, and you'll be surprised. Trust me, you'll be surprised what exactly was happening in the 70s and the
I
80s.
think
Start beginning in the
I'm not
50s.
talking about the
We can
set.
have a
Do you know
separate
where
discussion about
I'm
it.
talking about the 18th century? I think we're talking about completely different periods. I'm talking about the 18th, 19th century. The Great Game was 18th, 19th century, and the period you're referring to, and
So
those
India would have
scriptures.
supported, silently
Guys,
would have
we really need to
supported
move on from
Yeah,
the.
this. This topic is
we
not
need
about
to.
Yeah,
India
guys.
and Pakistan.
I think Neo has
Because
been
India
waiting
would have
for quite some
sided
Yeah,
time.
with the
Neo,
Soviets,
please.
and
Let's go to
they
Neo.
would have
Neo,
been
please go
successful
ahead.
into creating a Soviet state in Afghanistan.
Yeah,
ठीक है
yeah. Neo, please go ahead.
हाँ चलो मैं final Golden, I guess you guys want to talk about Gandhi and stuff, so that's fine. So, in my opinion, that's of course I could be wrong. It's just my opinion. Agar Pakistan, we're doing English, right? Okay, so if Pakistan and India never had the partition, I would imagine. Uh, See, right now, the reason you're saying that Muslims in India are persecuted and all that, also because they are a very small minority, right? And Pakistan is a majority Muslim. Imagine if India and Pakistan was not split, it was just one country. Muslims would have like what 30%, 40% representation, 30 to 40% representation in the whole of India. So they would have way more political power than what they have right now. So this persecution, oh, because the Muslims are so small in minority, they are being persecuted. They would have more political power than they have right now in India. And same thing with Pakistan. Pakistan, all the resources in the past 70 years that they wasted in defense and being uh, prepared to fight from India and always being this, all the situations that has happened in Pakistan, they wouldn't have to had to deal